Hello, everybody. Welcome to volume 39 of the Cult Bar. How are you doing, Renee?
I'm doing great.
Great. So, as we normally do, let's start off with any beverages you're having. Are you having anything this evening?
I'm having my own special recipe of an old fashioned because I'm 10 times more manly than anybody in the documentary we watched, with perhaps the exception of Louis Theroux. I'll credit him. And the only thing that makes it special is that I put a little bit of Luxardo cherry juice in when I muddle the orange. And then right now I've got a special simple syrup that was like developed just for old fashions from a local guy who makes simple syrup for fun.
Awesome. So that sounds good. How is it?
Oh, good. So good.
Yeah. So you put Luxardo cherry sauce, cherry juice in it too?
Yeah. So like a little bit of the cherry juice in, like a tiny bit of simple syrup, and then muddle that all together, and then drop 2 full cherries. 2. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest is just 4 roses and ice, and it's a lot of whiskey. So we're keeping the show short tonight, guys.
Yeah. It was funny as if I ever have an old fashioned, Jill always takes my cherries. Like she's like, I like cherries and they're boozy, so she eats them. I like them too, but they're for her. That's fine.
The guy who made the simple syrup makes his old fashions with, I can't remember which one, but an orange liqueur as well. It makes them very sweet. However, not bad.
Is it like Grand Marnier or something like that?
Thank you. God, I was like, the one that starts with a G, whatever. This was weeks ago when I had his old fashioned and bought the simple syrups. I bought 2 and he gave me a turbinado for free. So I'm going to be drinking some really fancy simple syrups on the show for a while, as long as they stay good in the fridge. Unfortunately, that guy's business went out of business. So,
oh well, that stinks.
I'm hoping that he's like, stick around, sell your amazing simple syrups.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying that. I couldn't figure out to do it, but I was like, all right, well, my old backup, I went to beer and I found this, and this is called Cheat Day. And the reason I got it is because all these musclehead knuckleheads in this thing, all of them have a cheat day. So this cheat day is from Southern Tier. Southern Tier is known for their very desserty stouts. This is no exception. This one is Brownie Swirl Ice Cream Imperial Ale made with Perry's ice cream.
I was going to say you should make it into a float, but then if it already has ice cream flavor, that might be too much.
Yeah. Also, then I'd have to eat it or drink it with a straw, which.
Right. Well, one of my favorite things is a Young's Double Chocolate Stout float.
Ooh, that is very sweet smelling. So we are going to see how this is. Interesting. This is not a stout; it's an ale.
Oh.
So. Yeah, Imperial Ale. So that's how it looks. My glass is a little dirty, as you see the bubbles on there. So my bad on that. I did have to just fix my dishwasher, so maybe that's why it was a little dirty. But
I had to clean the bottom of this glass because I let my kid do the dishes. So.
you get what you get when that happens.
You look confused.
No, I'm trying to. I almost wish it was a stout instead. I mean, the ale is not so bad. It's sweet, and I would, because I'm so used to them making imperial stouts with, like, they make a creme brulee stout, a chocolate stout. They make all these big ass dessert stouts, and this is just different. So I'm not used to it. But the Perry's ice cream part, the ice cream part's really good. It's pretty tasty, smooth.
I could see it, but I think I'd prefer those flavors in a stout myself. So
yeah, just what I'm normally used to. And actually, most of the time now when I drink beer, I honestly don't usually drink these very sweet stouts anymore. I actually kind of gravitate more towards the sort of classic styles now more. But I picked it up because of the name, because, like I said, we're going to talk about these.
We're talking about this shit.
Muscle-headed douchebags. So,
because Doug and I are the manliest men on the internet.
Manlier than those knuckleheads.
If you didn't see the update, we are not doing Escaping Utopia.
Yes, I did post that in the Facebook group saying that we couldn't find it in the U.S. to watch, so that made it problematic. So we just shifted gears.
Warned that I did see. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We couldn't watch it, so we skipped a month ahead. We're doing Inside the Manosphere by Louis Theroux.
Yeah, do you want to start with some trigger? You want to try there with some trigger warnings?
Well, there's a lot of them. I don't even know. Some of the horrors of that documentary did not even hit me until I went to bed. Like doing the math on like what these fucking douchebags thought they were doing. So here's your first trigger warning. I'm going to be insulting the concept of men a lot tonight.
The concept of men.
Yeah, so it's Andrew Tate style, really hardcore red pill bullshit. Okay, so like right then and there's a lot of misogyny. There is a lot of talk about what I would consider abuse in relationships. There is sexual assault. There is gay bashing. There's homophobia. There is racism. There is
anti-Semitism.
Not in the way. Sorry.
Anti-Semitism.
Yeah. These guys are everything that you don't like, and if you like them, don't know why you're watching this show. I think I got it all. Oh, and like a lot of weird, very manipulative financial stuff. And I do know that can be very triggering for some people if you've had a family member that's fallen into this. Yeah, and there's some surprising violence in this one. So I'm going to say if you haven't seen it, be aware. It is darker than you think it's going to be, no matter how dark it is you think it's going to be. Because I thought it was going to be pretty dark. And I was very upset for the whole thing. And then, like I said, some of the stuff, like I did, clicked into place for me as I went to bed, and I was just like, holy fucking shit. So this is a really intense one. And no, it's not theoretically or technically a cult, but it's absolutely a cult. Like these people are being told where to get their information from and how to think. They're being told how to invest their money. They're being told how to have sex, who to have sex with. They're in a cult. Unfortunately, it's a cult that is like in power right now. So
yeah. So I would agree with you. It is a lot darker than you would think it is. It's especially unsettling for someone like me who has 3 sons. Now, all my sons are adults. None of them are into this nonsense. But man,
I know that it's better if you have daughters, man.
Yeah, the daughters, then they have to navigate idiots who are following these guys, like these young boys who are just they're misled. They're horrible, but like they're how many, and they did a good job of blurring all these kids' faces, but how many young kids did you see coming up to these guys out in the street just being like, man, blah, 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 and I'm just like, dude, you have, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. We'll get to all that, but
Vivek Ramaswamy, who is a major right-wing up-and-comer, made his money. This is crazy, by the way. He made his money because he used to work for Google when Google first took over YouTube, and he noticed, fucking strap in for this, okay? He noticed that the algorithm on YouTube was made to radicalize young men. He saw, like, this is how the algorithm works, and the more extremist content, these things that we know, but he saw it, and he was like, I'm going to create an algorithm that doesn't do that. And his company didn't really get off the ground, but it was bought by someone else who then kept him on. So he made the money from the sale, and he got to work there. And now he's one of these fucking guys.
Yep.
For all intents and purposes. And so it's very crazy to me to see like you would read the first portion of Ramaswamy's story and be like, oh, this guy's like a good dude. And then you're like, wait, he's doing what? He's running MAGA? What? So, and then, the guys in this documentary used to be a high-ranking member of the Department of Homeland Security, and not necessarily, not now. So
nope, left to go do this.
There's just more money in being a huge asshole online, which is it is true, I feel like. But hey,
Well, as we know that online, the things that get traction are often things with hate and violence and things like that that get more traction than things that are good, that make it feel good, that make it that believe in humanity. So, but these kind of assholes come on and they just start saying, women to belong in the kitchen, and you should have pop out all the kids, and they should be on your demand. They should be at your command for any kind of sex you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they should have no say in anything. And
unfortunately, when I was fully giving into being angry on the internet, you couldn't monetize it back then. I should have stuck with it. I could be a billionaire living in Miami, appearing on the Fresh and Fit podcast to get yelled at.
And being made to feel dumb. So anyway, started off really well. The documentary is done by Louis Theroux, who is kind of a history of doing this kind of thing where he kind of exposes different things. And these guys, I'm surprised all of them agreed to be interviewed by him. I'm really surprised.
You know who he is. Let's be honest, they don't know who he is. Because and we'll get to that because there's something really disturbing that happens around that later. But I don't think they know who he is. And you see that as people are responding to them saying that they're doing stuff with him, that's as they get angrier and weirder with him because they think he's like a newscaster or something.
Yeah.
They don't know that his whole thing, letting you talk until you show what a piece of shit you are. Yeah. Basically.
And the thing is he's British and he's lanky and he looks non-threatening. And that all these guys see things as power and money, and that's all they see. So that's their whole lens of how they look at everything. And he doesn't look rich and he's not buff. So
yeah, my favorite part, well, I don't know if it's my favorite, but one of my favorite parts is when I can't remember which one of them it was. I think it's HS was like, yeah, you got to be a salesman. You can't do anything without sales is the most valuable skill. You can't do anything without it. And I'm like, you are talking to a man who just does whatever the fuck he wants and then someone else sells it for him.
Yeah.
This person is infinitely more successful. You might have more money. Maybe, because we don't really know, right?
No, nobody really knows.
He's doing whatever the fuck he wants, whenever the fuck he wants, and he has people to make money for him.
Yep.
And here's the guy who's streaming sometimes 12 hours a day for a couple $100.
Yeah, it is. So HS is kind of more of the focus on here. And he goes, and his screen name is HS Tiki Taki, which is the dumbest screen name of all time.
Hold on. We just started the episode. We haven't done news. We haven't done anything else.
What's that?
We haven't done the news.
Oh, yeah. We should probably do that. How about?
Got into it. Yeah. So let's do something else disturbing first.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Sorry, it completely caught me off guard, but how about some news? All right, Renee.
Here we go.
I sent this to you.
Yeah, I feel like anybody who has an interest in cults, anybody who has an interest in the Duggars already knows this. Joseph Duggar, not Josh. Josh is already in jail about it. Joseph Duggar, another 19 kid and counting, has been arrested on child sex abuse charges. His wife was then subsequently arrested on child abuse, neglect, and what was it, unlawful detainment or something like that?
Something to that effect, yeah.
Because I'm assuming that when they went in and they searched the house, they saw that the kids were being mistreated. They were being locked in their rooms with locks on the outside of the doors. Real heinous shit. Nothing that surprising given, I was just talking about this with my husband, given the shit that they showed on the air on 19 Kids and Counting as to how they had to manage the house with that many kids and the excuses they made for abuse in order to do so. Mm-hmm. You knew for a fact shit was happening when the cameras turned off. So this is it's shocking, but it's not surprising.
No, it's not surprising at all.
Yeah. So, and you just told me before we came on air that he was released on bail
he's supposed to be transferred to a different, he's supposed to be extradited to Florida. And he was supposedly left that prison and was supposed to be extradited, and nobody knows where he is.
So it was supposed to be like law enforcement moving him.
Mm-hmm.
Great. No, I love that, because we know that there's definitely no chance that corruption was involved in him being missing. And then, of course, you know, what's Jim Bob doing? And here's the thing. This is the reason I wanted to talk about this, because it's not news to anybody. People know it happened. But I wanted to talk about it because we hit on this when we did the episode on the Duggars. But there's two things that you need to consider here. And both of them are just as heinous. These kids are not doing this out of nowhere. They're doing it because they were taught it. And they were either taught it because it was happening in their home, and or because this way of thinking and the isolation that they experience does paint children as sexual objects.
Mm-hmm.
And it's disgusting and it's horrible, but this is the kind of thing that happens when you tell children that a little girl wearing short shorts or a little girl showing her belly is sexual.
There's also the male owner. There's also that whole heavy male ownership of females sort of thing. In
Yeah.
there too.
Well, there's ownership of the women. There's the fact that if you commit any kind of sexual sin inside or outside of yourself, that it is the woman's fault or the girl's fault. This is an entire culture around making women sexual objects first, second, and last, and then somewhere in there, whatever they can do for you. And if what they can do for you is sexual, then it's still that. And I think that it's important to understand that every time we sexualize girls, we encourage this behavior. And when I say sexualize girls, I don't just mean you let a little girl wear makeup and do pageants where they wear grown-up clothes. I mean, when you see a little girl and you act like she is like slutty or something because of how she's showing her belly or running around in nothing but a diaper, and you start talking about sexualizing young girls. This is where that leads. And like I said, we talked about it on the episode. You can go back and watch it. I don't know that it's worth banging the table on, but the fact that now it's two members of the family, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind. Again, this is my opinion. Don't fucking sue me, but there's no doubt in my mind that there was sexual abuse happening in that home, that it was almost certainly perpetrated by Jim Bob and likely perpetrated amongst the siblings.
Well, we've seen it. It's been definitely perpetrated amongst the siblings because Josh did it to his sisters.
Right.
So,
but I mean, like, I'm on a larger scale than that. I think that it was just normalized in their home. That's my opinion. I don't fucking have any evidence, whatever, but I think that it was normalized in their home.
Yeah, but we see this time and time again in very strict religious entities or cults, whether it's cults or not, even if it's very strict religious groups, this kind of abuse happens all the time. And the leaders hide it because they don't want their religion to look bad.
Well, and in this case, they're all learning from, aren't they part of the IBLP umbrella? Yeah. And IBLP is basically, again, just my opinion, don't fucking sue me. It's a child sex trafficking organization painted to look like a religious organization. Every single person in that organization in any leadership position has allegations against them. Maybe it's time to stop fucking calling it a church.
Yeah, the problem,
or whatever the fuck they call it, because they hide in plain sight.
I'm going to give you a tangent that's dumb. So just
okay.
When you said IBLP, my brain went to Bad Bunny. Went IBLP, hey. Like, God damn it, Doug, you and your stupid.
I'd rather be listening to Bad Bunny than listening to more stories of the Duggars children, because this is it. It's like I was telling my husband in the car. It's like when the show was on the air, they were showing blanket training on TV. That's terrifying. It's horrible abuse for a child. It's scary. It makes no fucking sense. The only reason that anybody overlooked it, and the only reason that it's necessary, quote unquote, is because they have so many fucking kids they can't possibly watch a baby that isn't afraid to leave its blanket. Also, playpens exist, but whatever.
Yeah.
The role that the Duggars played in normalizing this kind of religious extremism cannot be overstated, first of all. So fuck them for that. But also, IBLP is a fucking organization full of pedophiles, and the Duggars is a family full of fucking pedophiles. I'm a little angry today. I don't know if you noticed.
Hey, I'm here for it. Bring it.
I swear, I try to be so chill on this show because we have a good time. But man, like the news over the last
when are you chilling this show? When?
I want you to understand that I feel like I'm often chill on this show, and I don't feel chill tonight.
Again, I'm definitely here for it. So we're
as I take another sip of whiskey.
Hey, that's definitely going to help.
No one has ever gotten angrier or more out of control because they had more whiskey. Everybody knows that.
Never happened, never. Okay, back to the Inside the Manosphere. So I was pretty shocked, not the right word. I was pretty impressed / worried that Theroux was so aggressive about being not aggressive, but he would ask them questions to their face that you would expect them to be very angry about. And he just
or to the women in their lives right in front of them, which was really scary for me. So I want to talk, this is the thing, and I was going to save this for later, but fuck it, I want to talk about it right now.
Let's do it.
I believe, and I didn't think about this until later, this is the thing that hit me when I went to bed last night. I believe that HS was setting him up to get the shit beat out of him. I believe, because you see him get angry. This is so weird because it starts out like, I'm so much smarter than you, so you can't possibly make me look like an idiot. I agree. The whiskey is the cure, especially after watching. But like, there's a lot of that attitude amongst all of them, right? That like, there's nothing, they're so fucking smart and manly and cool that there's nothing that the skinny little British guy is going to do that's going to make them look bad because they're so fucking like, they're playing 4D chess. They're doing this with their hands, which I need to also say this means vagina. It's hilarious.
It's a sacred feminine.
But literally,
if you're doing it like that, that's a sacred feminine.
But literally, also in American Sign Language, it just means vagina. That's how you say vagina.
So I just go to my wife later and say,
I wouldn't suggest it.
She wouldn't know what I was doing because we still haven't started picking up ASL, even though we intend to. So.
Yeah, well, cut like little side tangent. Definitely do it. It's an amazing language. It makes you think differently about language, and also I know you struggle with your hearing, as do I. My husband's worse.
You're both more people. No, that's not great that both of you are like that.
He's so much worse than I am, and he doesn't know ASL. So whatever. But the point is, everybody should try to learn it. Babies can learn it. You can learn it. It's never too late. Even if you don't become fluent enough to be an interpreter, you be fluent enough to have a conversation with somebody who couldn't have that conversation otherwise. That's pretty fucking cool. Anyway.
All right. So back to this.
So HS fucking starts out pretty chill because he thinks that he's ahead of the game, right? And it's very clear that he thinks he's ahead of the game and nothing's gonna fucking touch him. But it's also very clear because he spends all of his time online. All of the comments about how Louis is gonna fuck him up. Mm-hmm. And he gets angrier and angrier. And the thing that's wild is he seems to not understand that when Theroux is not there filming him, Theroux is still following what's going on. So he seems to think that he can be really angry and shitty and mean on his live streams and then play really nice when he shows up to film. And that when he's playing it cool and like, oh, is everything cool between us? That HS has the upper hand, not Louis, who knows that this person is very angry with him. And in fact, is probably thrilled because again, that's sort of his style, right? Is to let people just show themselves who they are. We'll get to how he did that with Jimmy Savile later.
Which by the way, HS did claim that Louis Theroux was a buddy of Jimmy Savile.
That's what I'm talking about. This is what I want to talk about. This is why I feel that he was setting Theroux up to be physically harmed. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if you don't know that much about Louis Theroux and you don't know that much about Jimmy Savile, you might be like, were they friends? And if they were friends, here's the fucking deal, right? Nobody knew what Jimmy Savile really was until he was dead. And that's very important to know. Okay. But Louis Theroux had a series in England on the BBC, I think, called When Jimmy Met. And it's when Jimmy met whoever. And there's several episodes of this, and one of them is Jimmy Savile. And like many people his age, Jimmy Savile was a huge icon because he was a children's show host for a show called Jim Will Fix It. And it's basically like almost kind of like Make-A-Wish shit, right? This part I'm not an expert on. I had to ask my husband about because all I knew is that he was children's
British,
show.
so yeah.
Yeah, my husband's from England. So I don't know what I'm doing because we're mirrored and I just fucked myself.
Hey, it looks better than my hair.
Your hair looks great. It's always perfectly in place.
Yeah. Well, this hair sometimes gets a little wonky, but that's okay.
Anyway, he's a children's show host and he was beloved because all anybody had was what he gave them on the children's show. Very interesting and cool way to hide anything problematic about oneself. But after he died, it came out that he was a vicious pedophile. And I don't mean vicious like prolific, although he was that too. I mean vicious, violent pedophile. Mm-hmm. Really horrible shit. Crushed a lot of people because he was considered very not even considered. It was public knowledge. He was very charitable. He was very involved with children. Mm-hmm. It's like if you found out Mr. Rogers was a pedophile.
I was just going to say it was like the British Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. That's the best context I can give you. But where Theroux comes in is many years after he was no longer doing a child show. We had when Louis met Jimmy Savile, and he stayed in his home and he slept in his dead mother's bed because he had a weird Norman Bates thing with his mom.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't get to see the episode because you can't find it anywhere, but I read a lot of excerpts of transcripts, and this fucking shit was creepy as fuck. But this is the point. When HS asks him the first time, were you friends with Jimmy Savile? He said, I helped out him. And I'm like, oh. So I go look into it. And this is what he's talking about, as far as I know. He did when Louis met Jimmy Savile. And what happened there is he goes and he stays in Jimmy's home and he talks to him and he's in his dead mom's Norman Bates room and he's at the bar with him and he's doing all this stuff. And he does have affection for him because he grew up with him like Mr. Rogers. Like if we met Mr. Rogers, we would be like, fuck yeah, right?
How cool is this?
But lots of weird, dark shit comes out over time. And I should have saved some of the quotes. I didn't, forgive me. But it's stuff like he's talking about women give you brain damage. He's talking about the reason, like Louis asked him, do you tell people you hate children, which is really weird because you work with children. And he says the reason that he tells people he hates children is because he's single and he's never been attached to anybody in public life. And it just gets ahead of the tabloids accusing him of being a pedophile.
Yeah. It's always projection, right?
Really fucking weird thing to say, bro. And there's a lot of discussion throughout the entire series where it is clear that Jimmy Savile is not the man that he presented himself to be. It is clear that he lies about his past, present, and future. I mean, he's dead now, but at the time, he lied about his past, present, and future, that his relationship with the mom was really fucking weird. My theory, he came by his warped sexual appetites, honestly, if you get my drift.
From mom is going to be my guess.
Yeah, and so of course Louis doesn't like accuse him of anything, and in the end he is friendly. And he's like kind of like, yeah, like I got to hang out with this person who I looked up to, but he doesn't. There's a point at which Jimmy even says, well, you like to make negative things and I like to be a positive person, and Louis is saying not everything can be positive. And Jimmy actually threatens to sue him. And reading these transcripts are creepy as fuck. I can't tell you what it was like if you didn't know Jimmy Savile was a violent pedophile, because I did know that when I read them, but a lot of people agree that this was kind of the first strip of, like, the first layer of paint stripped off, where people started to be like, I don't think he's who he says he is. I don't think he's a good person. And so that's Louis' relationship with Jimmy Savile, start to finish. He is not friends with him. He was the subject of a 49-minute documentary. Okay.
Yeah.
So HS says, you were friends with him. And he says, I actually helped out him. He's like, but were you friends with him? And then he does what these guys do in every conversation they have with women, which is just talks over Louis to the point that there's no
Yep.
I'm going to say what I want people to believe over and over and over again and not give you an opportunity to say anything else, because then they'll remember what I said, which is your basic fucking bullshit public speaking classes that they take too seriously, right?
It's also narcissism 101 on that too.
Well, it's really funny too, because like what Louis does is also very basic communication stuff, which is he just is quiet long enough to make people fill the silence and then they fall on themselves. But anyway, the thing about HS is the more angry he gets with Louis and the more threatened he feels by Louis, the more he doubles and triples and quadruples down on Louis being friends with Jimmy Savile, who is a pedophile. Now, here's two things to know about that, why this is fucked up. One, HS introduces Louis to Ed Matthews, whose whole gig is he lures predators. It's implied, it's not proven, that by predators we mean gay men.
And calls them all pedos.
Calls them all pedophiles. There's a point where Louis is standing with this guy, and someone says, "Is that guy a pedo?" And he's like, "No, this is Louis Theroux," which is hilarious to me.
Yeah, that guy reminds me of like the certain part of London with like it's like the equivalent of like the Long Island, New York accent, but for Britain.
Well, that's HS because Ed has like a more neutral accent. I
found Ed's accent to be more like that than HS.
Well, maybe I'm just fucking mixing all these fucking misogynistic assholes into one.
Here's what it reminds you. Do you remember did you ever see the movie The Kingsman?
No.
Okay, well, Colin Firth is in there and Taron Egerton is in there. And Taron Egerton Taron Egerton does that voice like that guy's voice, but he's from like a rough and tumble part of London. Like kind of that thing. So, yeah.
I mean, they did all kind of blend together for me in the end. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to have to refer back to my notes a lot. Because they're
all the same person, just look slightly different.
And they'll be like, "You are brainwashed. You're a sheep." And it's like, you have not said anything different from anybody else in your like circle in hours. But anyway, so Ed's thing is he lures predators and then he humiliates them on camera. The example that was given was he makes them eat dog food. And in true sociopathic fashion, he's like, well, the humiliation is worse than jail time, which is super fucking like, there's so many fucking layers to that. We don't have all day. This show is at max 2 hours long, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then later in this documentary, as HS becomes more and more angry, we get to the point where Louis is covering these marathon streaming sessions that HS does, which are literally 8 to 12 hours long, and he does not stop. He's the one on camera. It's not like at some point there's someone just showing the party going on. HS is on camera, engaging, doing what I'm doing right now. Mm-hmm. Hopefully in a better way if it's keeping people's interest for 8 hours, but who fucking knows? Because no offense, but a lot of people watching are fucking idiots. And Louis notices that HS wanders off and does not know what the fuck is going on, but he has a sense that something is afoot. So he pulls out his phone and starts watching the live stream of the party that he was attending. And this is where we find that HS and his crew are off somewhere in town. They have lured a gay man. They have pretended that they are looking for a date. They've lured a gay man. And what happens next is one of the most upsetting scenes of the documentary, in my opinion. They won't show us the live stream, although we see the live stream, a lot of other shit. HS's friends, perhaps HS, perhaps not, we don't know, beat the living shit out of this man. And then after the fact say it's because he was a pedophile. After the fact. Mm-hmm. We don't have any knowledge of that. There's no evidence provided. I think it's pretty clear that what happened there and what happens with Ed Matthews is that they assume that gay men are pedophiles. We see this happen a lot in the right wing, and it's not really pushed back on their side, right? So anyway, that happens after he's been pushing this narrative that Louis and Jimmy Savile are friends, and then after the gay bashing incident, he doubles, triples, quadruples down. You're friends with Jimmy Savile. You're friends with Jimmy Savile. You're friends with pedophile. You're friends with pedophile. I believe that one of two things, and maybe both are true, that HS believed that Louis would read that as a threat and back off, and or that HS's followers would see Louis somewhere and beat the living shit out of him as punishment for embarrassing HS.
Or a secret third option, he would have his buddies beat him up.
Well, yeah, but I mean that didn't happen,
Off
right?
camera, like you would try to get him off camera. That's what I was wondering, is you were trying to get him off camera so that
the reason I don't think that's the case is simply because it takes a really fucking long time between filming and release of a documentary. So if that was the goal, I feel like it would have happened.
Yeah.
And I just wanted that plausible deniability so fucking bad that he lied about his intentions for the video to Louis.
Yeah, he was like, that wasn't what it was supposed to be. I don't condone that. I'm like, it sounded like you participated in it.
He also said he took it off the internet because he doesn't want it on the internet anymore. And then Louis goes and looks, and of course there's
and he's got clips
over the internet from HS's team. That's the other thing that comes up a lot is HS is like, I don't have to edit like documentary guys have to edit, but then he's always editing his shit and posting clips later. Nobody's watching all fucking 17 hours of a live stream of a dude on fucking ketamine. I'm sorry. Now, granted, that's my opinion that he does ketamine.
Yeah, they didn't mention anything about that, but there's very famously a guy who takes quite a bit of that.
I'm just fucking saying.
Well, it reminds me of those dudes that they're like the quote unquote looks maxing dudes, like the same sort of in that same sphere where everything is physical.
Influencer, yeah.
What's that?
HS is a fitness influencer among many other things.
Yeah, I sell my fitness program and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's all these guys have a grift and it's all different. Like, we're talking about HS because he was the most violent. The one that I actually think was really super sinister was Justin Waller.
Here's the thing, okay? I don't fucking like him. I don't like anybody in this. I thought the most sinister of all of them was actually Myron Gaines.
Myron was very much like, I'm gonna keep a fucking eye on you about everything you do.
I would love to know what his real name is because we find out.
He said it in a documentary, and I wrote it in my notes, and my notes got lost. But his name is not Myron; it's something else.
No, but here's the thing that's interesting about man, otherwise known as Myron Gaines. He used to hold a high-ranking position at the Department of Homeland Security. Mm-hmm. And this motherfucker, his whole job, his whole thing, what he does is he has this terrible podcast that puts all this red pill shit out on the internet. And then he has the after hours version of the podcast where they invite women on just to fucking try to humiliate them. And what's amazing to me, what I fucking hate about this, because we see it happen a few times, is that when women just refuse to engage, and this happens with HS as well, with Bonnie Blue, it's like, I see what's happening here, so I'm done. They take the win. And it's like, no, you didn't fucking win. She walked away because you're a fucking idiot.
Like, she gave that guy an opportunity to interview her, and she's a very controversial figure in her own right.
She definitely is, yeah.
But what she does is she gets paid to have sex with people, and she does it, and that's her job. And to be clear, sex work is work. That is a work. That is a job. Now, she does it in an extreme manner.
I'm going to tell you right now. So if you don't know, if you're sitting at home and you have no idea who we're talking about, Bonnie Blue is the woman who is famous for sleeping with 1,000 men in a single session, which is also the plot to a Chuck fucking Palahniuk novel. That's how extreme her content is.
Yeah, if you're in the pattern of a Chuck Palahniuk novel.
It literally is. That's what Snuff is about.
I'm just saying, if you're patterning something is about your life as patterning after one of his novels, that's extreme.
I mean, I'm not saying she read it and then decided to do it. I'm just saying the two things, whatever. I don't know anything about her besides that and what we saw in the documentary, because frankly, like, to me, the personal politics of sex work at that level are so fucking complicated that I'm like, you know what? It's none of my fucking business. Let her do what she's going to do.
Yeah. And which
would be a very healthy attitude for a guy who manages OnlyFans models to have.
But he hates it. He thinks it's gross, which is bullshit.
He hates her especially. He gets like, don't ever compare me to her. And the comparison was valid because they were just saying the same fucking things.
That's the thing is what's really crazy about these guys is they pretend that they're doing this and that you want to be more manly, so you're a better catch, right? A catch. Except everything they do is for other men. Every single thing.
He literally, at some point, I can't remember who says it. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna pull this up in my notes because this fucking blew me away, and I made a note of it. Because one of these guys actually says it. I don't agree with it, but I'll make money off of it. Speaking of the OnlyFans bullshit. So it wasn't him that said it.
Yeah, it just is. It strikes
Another
me.
Note, every time these guys talk about women, I want to die. I haven't said that yet, so I'd like to say that now. One of them says that he needs men to believe. I think it's HS, but I can't find it because he said so many insane things.
He said a lot of insane.
Oh no, it was Myron Gaines who said, "I need men to believe." Oh, how weird! Some of my notes disappeared too.
Well, I didn't save mine. I wrote it in a Word doc and I didn't save it.
I only have 2 fucking bullet points on Snako, and there's no way.
Yeah, that guy's a whole different kind of fucked. But.
Yeah. So anyway, what Myron says is, I need guys to have this mindset. And then he starts talking about the mindset that he has about relationships and sex. And that blew me the fuck away because it's like, why the fuck do you care? Wait, hold on. Like, I felt like the Jennifer Lawrence clip when she's on Hot Wings, when she's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Which
is a great clip. Which is a great
Why
clip.
do you fucking give a shit what other men believe about their personal relationships with women?
Because that's where they make their money.
Fucking thing. And then it was HS who said that men have to prove their value to other men. These guys, I'm sorry, they're the gayest men in the world. Gay men have nothing on how gay these men are. Because gay men will still live for themselves.
Yeah.
Gay men will still be like, I don't give a shit if you like what I have going on, because what I have going on is for me. Where these men are like, everything I have going on is for you, other men.
Yeah, you're peacocking out so other men will pay you money to listen to your nonsense.
And obviously my tongue is firmly inside this right cheek right here. I don't think it has anything to do with homosexuality, but it is this insane misogyny that means that anything you do that could even be close, like even at a stretch related to women, is the worst thing ever. And so they become obsessed with other men. And I have not met a straight teenage girl full of hormones who is more obsessed with men than these men are obsessed with men.
Mm-hmm. And their looks are purely for male gaze. They're not for female gaze at all. Now, there might be women who are attracted to how they look. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, but what they are doing is I'm going to look, and this is how you should look so you can attract women.
I say, are they though? Because remember that there's somebody, I think it was HS, who's like, what's your favorite thing about me? And the girl's like, your money.
Your money. And he's like, damn. And it was like, the thing was, it was one of those, I think she was, which I don't know if she was an OnlyFans model or an Instagram model. Or
she was an OnlyFans model. He was he's like, I don't manage OnlyFans models. I just bought a company that does. But then you find out, because she's there, he has a personal relationship with her, and he's hosting a content house, which I'm not saying content houses are bad, because a lot of social media companies have them. Like,
hey, look at like Love is Blind and that dumb shit, and that's a content house.
But that's not the same thing, because they're filming that for streaming, like for Netflix or whatever.
I get that, but on a level, they're the same. They're content houses in just different formats.
Yeah, so like you'll hear about like Rooster Teeth used to have a content house before they went out of business. If only these motherfuckers would go out of business, but whatever.
Oh, man.
So like a content house is just like a whole bunch of creators living together and or staying together for a certain period of time to create shitloads of content. There's nothing wrong with that. But what is wrong is a guy saying that he thinks OnlyFans models are disgusting and that he doesn't manage OnlyFans models, and then hosting a content house full of 15 OnlyFans models to film OnlyFans content to make shitloads of money off of it. That That's
Yeah,
illegal.
he owns the company that manages the models, so it's a step removed. So to him, in this well, I'm just making money off of it. Okay, but you like to be seen with them,
And
but
he's
you
like,
also like,
well, but I tell people not to watch porn. I tell people porn is bad, but then he advertises porn in his Telegram group where he sells all of his other shit.
yep.
And Louis calls him out on that and says it's like if you owned a gym and you were selling personal training services, and every time someone walked in, you put a box of donuts in their face, you're sending mixed messages. And he's like, well, your actions are up to you. You can eat the donuts or not. It's like, yeah, except if I'm fucking offering you a donut and then telling you you're a piece of shit for eating the donut, but then telling you, please eat the donut, it's mixed messages, period. That's what it is.
Yeah. And he was taking it as the part of like, well, I also own the donut shop too. Like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
making
I
money
forgot
there.
that he said, I forgot.
So I can make money. I can make money off.
Yeah.
And the thing is it is this whole. It's the Manosphere is also very heavily tied to MAGA. Very heavily tied to.
Yeah.
So the whole, I'm going to be super selfish. I'm going to make as much fucking money as I can, fuck it over as many people as I can. That is, they see Donald Trump not as the chode that he is. They see him as, look, he just keeps grifting people. They keep giving money. Look how rich he is. He just keeps fucking people over. Nobody.
Fascinating though, Doug. Didn't this blow you away? Is they were so honest with Louis.
Yeah.
He's just straight up. He just said, I wouldn't say this in front of my mom. She'd slap me.
And then when HHS's mom was there.
But like, you're afraid of your mommy?
Yeah, well,
I'm
like
not afraid of my mommy. I'm 40 fucking 1 years old. I don't be afraid of my mommy. I haven't been afraid of my mommy since I was like 19.
Well, like, and the funny thing was when his mom
19, for the record, that's why.
Well, when HS's mom came in as part of the interview process, that was super interesting.
Because she started out pissy with HS, but then it was like, oh, you're coming for my baby boy? Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's what I found very interesting about it. It's like, oh, sweetheart, this is how you created this man.
Yeah. And then there was like, they showed the pre-thing before, like, because Louis, like, I think he's streaming live. Of course he streams live. He streams everything live. So, like, of course that. And then there's a thing where before Louis came, his mom was like telling him to clean up. And I was like, that is the shit you mock all the time. That is beta cuck behavior that you would mock other people for doing.
Two things about the cleaning. Okay. One, not the cleaning, but like that situation. One, his little buddy standing in the corner filming everything super obviously and weirdly and creepily and thinking that was going to be like Louis was, that was normal and not like, I'm filming everything, so you can't misrepresent me. And it's like, well, he's not going to misrepresent you, buddy. He's going to let you talk. But super fucking weird. But two, about the cleaning is that one, you have mommy telling him to clean up before the important film guy comes along. And then two, what we see with Myron and his girlfriend, Angela, spoiler alert, they fucking break up, is he said that she's there to clean up for him. And that he has a house. He has a room at this big apartment where he films all his content. And that Angie has to clean it up before they can go see it. And then she shows up and there's a super awkward interview. And then he tells her very half-heartedly and weird, like reservedly, I need you to go clean up the room, please.
Yep.
And then you see her in the background like 5 seconds later because you see like she's not fucking cleaning.
Yeah, and then
there's the other thing. Says there's the him that's on camera and there's the him that's with me.
Period. He didn't want that out.
No, and
he didn't like that.
You're not allowed to talk to Angie because I chose to be in the limelight and she didn't, and blah, blah, blah. But then when he goes on the fucking podcast, when Louis goes on the podcast, he starts asking questions to the girl who works for Myron, booking girls to come on the podcast to be.
Yeah, he walks off. He like wanders and finds her.
And they're bullshitting. And Myron's like, and then he's like, oh, and all of a sudden the girl's like, I don't know how to say this politely, but I'm no longer allowed to talk to you.
Well, she started off by saying, I fucked up. You didn't fuck up at all.
Yeah, that's right. It's just like he cannot have any woman in his sphere speak to Louis. Because he knows he's going to be. Here's the thing.
He's the only one that knows Louis is a threat to him. Like, he's the only one that gets that Louis could fuck him up.
No, because I think, but here's the thing is I think that what's the name? The redheaded one didn't want Louis to talk to his wife either.
But he let him.
He put it off as long as he could. She was so coached. We'll get there in a second.
Oh my God. Because you look at Angie versus her, night and day.
Oh yeah. So Angie's like, I don't fucking think so.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, people change minds. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe she'll change her mind. She's like, I don't fucking think so. And like I said, he tells her to go clean, and you see her in the background. She clearly did not go to another room to fucking clean. She called him out on the fucking documentary. He's not who he says he is.
Yeah.
She says that. And then by the end of the documentary, they broke up because they have him on the fucking podcast like, it was on me. It was on me. She wanted a family. I didn't. Bullshit. All you talk about is fucking traditional family roles. Bullshit.
Traditional, and the one-sided monogamy was really funny.
Well, they talk about the one-sided monogamy throughout, right? And Louis talks to Angie, Myron's girlfriend, about this, and she's like, I hate it. Don't want to do it. And he's like, well, we're not doing that right now because I'm so focused on making money. And it's like, look, okay, it would make you more money if you had 2 girlfriends. Maybe the reason that you're not doing it is not because you're too focused on making money, but because nobody else will fucking fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only people who like you are the people who buy into your bullshit. And the people who buy into your bullshit watch your podcast. And the people who watch your podcast see you humiliate women on the fucking regular.
Yeah, so
attempt to humiliate, because I don't think it's the same thing.
Yeah, it was funny. He was trying to humiliate a few of them, and they were just like, I don't give a shit. Like,
no, man. No. Yeah. Like, for real, ask me if I give a shit. Like that thing about, like, do you care what a man's body count is? And fully the expectation was for her to say yes and for him to be like, then what's yours? And she's like, it's none of my business and my body count's none of his. And you could see this, like, the fucking, like, oh shit, I'm fucking hurry up.
Like Rubik's Cube time.
Yeah. And it's like, no, because these people aren't, like, as much as you want to tell your audience, these people are lying about who they are. They're not. She does not fucking care. And if you care, that's a turnoff for her, and she's not going to fuck you.
Yeah, and the woman's like, so you're like an OnlyFans model. She's like, I think I might stop doing that. He's like, no, you're not. Like, you just ridicule, like, and maybe she was just like, I'm doing that. I made my money. I'm good. I'm done.
But here's the other thing, and this Louis Theroux's method of making a documentary and his point of view in a documentary is such that I'm never going to get everything I want out of a documentary that he does, and that's fine.
Yeah,
because
that's his thing.
I did get a lot of joy out of his little facial expressions. And at the end of the documentary, when he shows how hard he can actually hit the thing,
that was great.
I laughed for like 5 fucking minutes, right?
Yeah, it was funny. We watched the documentary, and as soon as he did that, and I just laughed. And then my wife looked at me and goes, that whole thing was super dark. It's like, yeah.
It was so fucking dark. But the thing is like, here's what's funny.
That one little piece of humor at the end. We're
so off track right now, but I feel like it's worth mentioning. I feel like Louis is smart enough that when he hit it the first time and it was like a 530 or 540 something.
Which isn't bad.
I think he did it on purpose.
Yeah, probably.
You can't accidentally hit a 540 if your normal hit is an 800 and something.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I also think 5.3 is not that bad.
It's fine. It's totally fucking fine.
If you hit somebody to draw with a 5.3, that's going to do some. That's going to fuck them up somewhat, right?
As a 5'2", used to be petite, is now a little fat woman. Nobody believes I'm 5'2" if they only know me from the internet.
Your personality does not render you as 5'2". That's the thing.
My husband often tells people I'm 5'7".
All right, question.
He thinks
how tall is your husband?
5'9", which is hilarious because it's like, do you know how tall you are? I'm significantly shorter than you, more than 2 inches. I have a big personality. I'm a Leo, whatever. Anyway.
I'm a Leo.
I totally lost my train of thought because I thought you knew I was short.
No, I knew you were short. I was just saying you do not read short because your personality is so big.
Nobody ever believes it. And if they meet me and like, especially when I had green hair, I was like, noticeable from 10 miles away or whatever. I had green hair and an undercut. I'm like, every one of the guys on this documentary is worst nightmare with my fucking septum ring.
Oh, they hate that shit. They hate that shit.
Yeah, it wasn't blue though, it was green. Anyway, people would be like, wait a minute, what? You're short? Very, incredibly. 4 inches above being literally considered a midget, actually. I know that's not the appropriate word, but that is the word that
we get what you mean. It's okay.
Yeah. And again, I was already angry, and this is how much I've had.
All right, so we were talking about Theroux hitting the fucking punching bag.
Oh, right. It's to me, it's this thing of like, at one point, he said, he asked HS a question. He's like, did you just look at my arms? Like, he just called him out on it. Did you just look at my arms? I love that. Because it's this thing of like, all these things that these guys think are important. And Louis is so successful. And he probably impresses all of the people that he cares to impress, right? Because that's the thing, right? I don't give a fuck about the vast majority of people in the world when it comes to like who likes me, who respects me, who I impress. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, but that took me a while. It took me a while to get to that.
Sure. Well, sure. But like, even as, let's say I was the same age as HS, who I'm assuming is like early to mid 20s. There was still a vast fucking ocean of people I didn't give a fuck what they thought about me. Because I didn't give a fuck about them. I thought they sucked. Like, I know that there's times in our life where even the people we think suck matter to us. But I feel like you wouldn't be so open about it even then. You know what I mean? You'd lie.
Yeah.
You'd lie. You'd be like, I don't care what those people think about me because they suck. Whereas like the lack of perspective, this is so funny, is the only person who had the least amount of self-awareness was is it Jason? Justin, when he's like, that car's not success. I want to be clear. I don't think that car's success. It's not success. I want you to know I don't think that car's success. It's like, bullshit. You wouldn't have bought that car if you didn't think it was fucking success. Yep. But you also know that it's kind of lame to think a Ferrari is success.
Yeah. Like I said, this is what I think. There's an underlying sinisterness to him because he has just enough wherewithal to hide certain things well.
Let's get into
just a little bit, not much. All of those they're bombastic for a reason, but I feel like he just had just the slightest bit.
100% get into this motherfucker because I have some complaints about him.
Well, so do I, but I'm just saying, like, I find him to be really. I said sinister. Maybe that's a bit aggressive, but
No, it's not. And this is why, because this is what I have to say about him is this whole, okay. So remember when they're having the conversation about, so he finally lets Louis meet his wife, mother of 2 and pregnant. And then, but he called her his wife.
Yes, but he also, when Louis asked him if that's your wife, when he asked if it's your wife, she was like, I'm just, I didn't go into it.
I didn't bring the state into it, is what Justin says.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Let's fucking dig into that because Louis says, well, that's quite a bit of risk for you. Well, I don't feel like it's a risk for me. Motherfucker, okay. Because Louis lets him off a little easy, in my opinion, in this moment. He says, are you worried about losing money? No, he fucking isn't worried about losing money. No, he fucking isn't. No, he isn't. Because here's the fucking thing. If he gets married and his wife has an entitlement to half of what he does while she's at home staying in her lane, because that's her whole thing, right? We stay in our lanes. He doesn't change diapers. He doesn't watch the kids. He doesn't do the dishes.
So he's a shitty father. That's a good
shitty fucking dad who doesn't help around the house, but he makes money. And she doesn't make money, so she does all the house and kids stuff. Which I'm going to tell you right now, if that's what you want out of life, 100%, I'm in favor of you having that. I have something kind of close to that as an artist, as a creative. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't make as much as my husband who gets a check every 2 weeks. I don't.
Yeah.
But I'm married to him. So every time that I sacrifice my ability to make money to take care of our kid, I'm entitled to half his fucking retirement. If he fucking pisses me off, if I fucking piss him off, whatever, that remains true no matter what. Now, in Justin's little situation where we say, oh, it's about the money. If she divorces him, he's going to lose his money. No, it fucking isn't. It never fucking is. This is what it's about. She knows if she leaves him, she's a single mother of 3 on her fucking ass on the streets, no fucking work experience. She knows if she pisses him off, she's a single mother on the streets with no fucking money and no fucking work experience. He has complete fucking control over that relationship because they're not married, because she's entitled to nothing. And she stays in her lane. I don't know if she knows that. I don't know if she thinks that the child support would be enough. But here's the thing. Child support ends when those kids are 18, but you gave up how much work experience? You gave up how much of your fucking earning potential? You gave up how many years of your life helping this man become what he wanted to be and send the message he wanted, which is his traditional family and his one-way monogamy. He's out doing whatever the fuck he wants, fucking whoever the fuck he wants, and she is at home making it possible every day of the fucking year. And if she pisses him off and he leaves, she gets nothing. If she gets sick of it and she leaves, she gets nothing. So what does that mean she does? In her own self-interest, she makes him happy. She says what he wants to hear, and she does what he thinks she's supposed to do, because otherwise she's out on the streets as a single mother of 3 fucking kids. That's the sinister shit about that motherfucker.
Also, the interesting thing of him when they were talking about the one-way monogamy, and he would say about, oh, well, if this woman was interested in me, I would show him a picture of my wife, and then I would be trying for the threesome.
Yeah. No, that's disgusting and gross. Thank you. Go fuck yourself, bro.
Now, if your partner was really into that, that's a different thing. But I feel like she's being forced into that.
Maybe she is and maybe she isn't. I don't feel like we got enough from her to know.
No, we don't.
If I'm on a date with you and I have to ask, aren't you married?
Then I'm not on a date with you.
I'm not there for a threesome, because if I was there for a threesome, I would probably know that there was another woman in your life for sure, one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. So it is, she was very well coached. The idea too is like she's popping out another kid for him.
Yeah, that's why I said a single mom of 3, because they have 2. I hope you're sitting down and I hope you have some ginger nearby. They have 2 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Not 2 kids, not 2 daughters. Mm-hmm. Very little. I wanted to barf and also die and also murder. That was my mix of emotions. I don't know how you felt, Doug.
I felt completely grossed out, and the idea that like that's what they're going to try to instill in their kids.
It's going to work at least for a while. That's what upsets me about this kind of shit.
And the thing is, their kids eventually will have access to information that they can't control. And that is when shit will go off the rails.
I see one of 2 outcomes for his daughters. And it's possible that one chooses one and one chooses the other. Who fucking knows? I don't know. I don't know these girls. They're, thank God, not on the documentary.
Yeah, they blurred them out, which they did a very good job of blurring out people in general that, you know, you didn't like kids.
Minors especially. Yeah.
They did a very good job of that.
One of 2 things is going to happen with these girls. They're either going to live the exact same kind of life as their mother does. And that is going to infuriate him, by the way, because there's nothing men like this hate more than knowing that their daughters are being treated the way that they treated women.
Yep.
Or 2, one or both of them is never going to fucking speak to him ever again.
And then they're going to be mad and they, remember, it's Elon Musk all over again with like,
what I did wrong.
I did all the right things. I gave them everything. You did not give them everything. You didn't give them fatherhood.
You didn't give them parenthood. You also gave them. Here's the thing that drives me insane. If you want, I'm speaking to women right now. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom and you want to dedicate your life to your children for whatever amount of time, because there's different amount of times that people choose to be a stay-at-home parent. If you want to remain in a marriage, regardless of the challenges, whatever, I am for that. I think it's great. I think everybody has a right to their own values, their own desires, their own ways of life. And as long as you can financially support it, fucking go for it. However, when you present a fucked up version of this shit to your kids, you teach them that that is what they can expect of parenthood and motherhood, of marriage and motherhood. Sorry.
Sure.
And that's not good, because either they get trapped in the same fucking trap as you did, which is terrible, or they're like, I don't want it at all. Rather than providing an environment where they can see healthy relationships and healthy boundaries and maybe even healthy separations and getting back together, or healthy separations and getting divorced, whatever it fucking may be, and making educated choices that say, like, my autonomy fucking matters. What I want matters. The way that I am treated matters. I don't care if you're the kind of person who will stay in a marriage no matter what happens, as long as your kids know that they don't have to. And the reality is, most people who stay in a marriage no matter what happens don't fucking teach their kids that they don't have to.
Yeah. So for that, to that point, so like, you know, I have 4 kids, and 3 of my 4 kids have said at some variation at some point where they were like, I want a relationship like what you and Joel have.
That's amazing.
And to me, that is one of the proudest accomplishments I could ever ask for, because they see how I love her and how she loves me and how we treat each other with respect and how we talk. And that is what, to me, that is what you want your kids to have the opportunity to be with someone that they connect with, and they aren't afraid to talk about their feelings, either direction.
Yeah.
And the Manosphere stuff is not about sharing feelings. You should not do that.
Fucking not. No.
And
because you're supposed to be in charge.
So you should always be stoic, and you should always be the rock. And that's harmful bullshit for boys and men.
Well, and here's the thing, right? Is because I've been in leadership positions in the military. I've been in leadership positions out of the military. Still am a teacher, not in the public school system. I'm not misrepresenting myself, but I teach workshops. I teach creative shit, whatever. I'm an editor, which is another way of teaching. And this is what I'm going to say, is I'm very cognizant when I am in a situation that I cannot be fully vulnerable, fully messy, fully myself amongst people that I'm going to be in charge of, because that's just reality when you're dealing with other adults, right? You lose authority if you fall apart. You lose authority if you're all over the fucking place when you're supposed to be on the ball. In your home, you should be free to be a fucking mess if you need to be a mess.
For sure.
In your home, you should feel free to say, I don't like what's going on here, and say it out loud in front of God and everybody, and not worry about backdooring or fucking somebody over, because a family unit should be cooperative, in my opinion. Yeah. And so that's what really strikes me, is this idea of like, I have to lead the woman in my life. It's like, oh, well, that means you don't ever actually get to have a relationship with a woman in your life. Because a romantic relationship, a partnership at that level, is about being able to be vulnerable.
Yep.
I would never be like, I should be super fucking vulnerable in front of these people that I'm in charge of right now. Because that's not what people need from a leader. That's not what people need from the guy in charge or the girl in charge. But when you're a father or a husband or a wife or a mother, people do need to see you being vulnerable, because with your kids, you're teaching them how to be adults. And with your spouse, you're supposed to be able to be your whole self.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that to kind of toot my own horn there. It was just more like, I was very proud that they saw my relationship with my wife as something to aspire to.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear you that way. I'm sorry if it came across like I was arguing.
I was I just wanted to make it clear that I was not like being, hey, check me out. It was more like,
you should teach her something true though, because that's fucking killer.
But I'm just so happy that my kids see my relationship with my wife and see that that's a thing to emulate. If they can find
that is an accomplishment. This is the thing. This is what drove me nuts about this fucking documentary. What you're talking about is an accomplishment. Having a healthy, reciprocal relationship that your own kids, because kids, their whole job is to get to a point where they don't give a fuck about you or your values or what you think.
Yeah.
Right? That's the whole point.
If you raised them right, that's how they should get to.
Right. And like, I hate to break it fucking to you if that's not what you want your kids to do. That's the point. And it sucks and it's hard, but that's the point, that to become their own people. And to become their own people, they have to kind of think you're full of shit for a little while. So if they
Yeah,
think
unfortunately so.
for a little while, and then they come back and they're like, actually, you're not full of shit. You are very smart, even if it's about this one little thing. That's phenomenal, and you should brag. You should toot your horn. But these guys, it's like they don't understand that at all about anything, about any human beings, about any kind of leadership, whether it is amongst people that they do not know, about people they interact with personally, about their relationships with their spouses, about their relationship with their kids. They don't fucking get it. They think success is never showing weakness, never showing vulnerability, never being like, I'm scared, or I'm worried, or I love you.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like we had so many generations of men ruined because their fathers never said, I love you. And I'm leaving out women with daddy issues because go fuck yourself. The men are the daddies.
Yeah.
The men are the daddies. Women don't have daddy issues. Daddies have daddy issues.
Yeah, there's an interesting.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's an interesting concept of that because so, like, my dad is 78, and we say I love you now, but it's very very much not in his comfortability space because he grew up in an era where you just didn't say that to other men because that's not what you did. And my kids, I tell all of them I love them, and they always tell me it back. And they don't care who the fuck they're around.
Yeah,
they could be with their buddies. Hey, Dad, love you, and then
who God fucking forbid that I love my family members, which is like.
But that's the thing is, you're right. You're right about Justin's kids. They at some point are going to be like, either I'm going to do exactly what Mom does, and I'm going to be afraid, or I'm going to be like, fuck all this, and just go do something completely different.
And it's like, okay,
and both are going to drive him nuts. Both.
Oh, 100%. He's going to fucking hate it if another man treats his daughter the way he treats his wife, which fucking.
And he's going to hate it if that guy treats his daughter really great.
Oh, yeah, because she's going to be uppity and she's going to be. Here's the thing. So, I mentioned it on the show before, so I mentioned it again. I'm a woman Marine. I was in the Marines for 6 fucking years. And at the time I was in the Marines, only 1% of the Marine Corps was women, which still blows my mind to this day. I always go back and fact check it to make sure I'm not full of shit when I say it. It's true. 1% And at the time that I was in the Marines, all of the women trained on the East Coast. So I would regularly encounter Marines who had never in their life met a woman Marine before that moment because they trained on the West Coast. They went to boot camp in San Diego. They did their schools over there, whatever. They got through. They're in for 8 fucking years. And I'm the first fucking woman they met. And I've been in for 2 fucking years. Like, okay, that's reality for me. There is no man in the world who hates a woman Marine more than a male Marine who did a non-combat job.
Not
all of them. Not all of them. There's plenty of male Marines who are good dudes. I consider them my brothers. I consider one of them my husband. Only consider. No, I'm kidding. Be hilarious.
Okay, don't do that when I have a drink in my mouth, please.
We are legally married. Anyway. My first husband was also a male Marine. Fuck him. That's besides the point.
We'll leave that alone.
And I'm sorry, I slip into this when I talk about Marine Corps. I do male and female, even though I'm generally opposed to that kind of vocabulary. But
yeah,
that's how we talked about it when I was in. And so forgive me, because again, that's
understood.
No man in the world is a bigger misogynist than the man who joined the Marine Corps to prove to his daddy that he was a man. And then encounters a woman who did all the same shit that he did. And sometimes did harder shit than he did. I did harder shit than a lot of men in the Marine Corps. I really did. I have the broken bones and the lifelong disabilities to fucking prove it. I did it. And you encounter these guys who argue tooth and nail against women in the infantry, even years after women have been allowed in the infantry. And you find at 100% to a fucking one, you find out they're not fucking infantry. Because the reality is no, not every woman can qualify to be infantry, but also not every man can. Not even every man who joins the Marine Corps can. Because actually, it's very physically fucking demanding, right? And so I think it's important to center these kind of conversations around this idea that these guys will say, because not every woman can do what I do, because not everyone could hang steel butt naked, like Justin said. Fuck that guy so much, because I guarantee you he had family money, but whatever. Because not every woman could do it, then no woman could do it. And it's like, okay, but that's why you fucking lose your mind when you encounter a woman like me.
Yep.
Because I'm a woman who was in the punk underground and got in the mosh pits, and I'm a woman who was in the Marine Corps and did the fucking training, and I am a woman who has been in every male dominated space you could fucking imagine and did just fine, because yes, the Marine Corps is the hardest of the military. It's true.
My dad was a Marine, and
if it were possible at the time that I joined the Marine Corps, I would have been infantry. Stupid as fuck, but that was my mindset. And I was one of the first women to work in a tanks unit before it was even fucking legal for women to work in tanks units.
That's fucked up that it was still not legal when you did it.
Yeah. Well, it was like, it was weird, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why. It's fine. The point is that when I see guys like this, I see all of that seeping, all that insecurity, all that bullshit seeping through, because I've met so many of them. So fucking many of them. And if you meet them online, you meet them in person, you meet them fucking wherever, it explodes. It is catastrophic to their sense of self. It is so beyond their capability to accept that they cannot behave like normal human beings. I have never met a man who was secure in his masculinity, who was mad enough at me to freak the fuck out. And I have never been mad enough at a man who was secure in his masculinity to freak the fuck out. Okay, maybe once or twice, because men, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to be a little critical of the concept of men in this episode. But that's that's the overall reality, is that men who are afraid act like the men in this documentary. And men who are secure, this is the fucking hilarity of it. Louis Theroux is secure. And you see it through the whole fucking documentary. He thinks it's funny. At one point, I don't necessarily agree with this, but I get what he was doing. At one point, he makes a fucking gay joke at one of the guys, and it's so fucking subtle you barely notice it. Did you catch what I'm talking about? I need to go into my notes to see the exact context.
Put in your notes, because I think he did that a few times.
Yeah, well, it was just like he said. It was something. Sorry, I've got so many insane fucking notes. It's very hard. Also, why did Justin keep saying yes, sir, all the time? Very weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
It's interesting to see the way each of them interacted with people that would come up to them in the street.
Yeah.
So and Justin was very like, hey man, like just very car salesman-y. 100%. And he's
such a car salesman.
And HS felt very reluctant, but would do it because he knew it would.
Oh my god, wait. Okay, this is not what I'm looking for, but this was in the previews, and it fucking cracked me up from the word go. When Justin says, people ask me why I'm in Miami, and I tell them if it were 120 years ago, I'd be in California looking for gold. And I'm like, if it were 120 years ago, you'd be 50 years late for the fucking gold rush.
What is that? I completely missed the date.
They're called the 49ers for a fucking reason, bro. Do you even fucking sports? I don't, and I know that.
I completely missed that. Oh my god, that's fucking precious.
1849, bro, not 1926. What the fuck? Or 1906, whatever. Yeah, I was like, fucking what?
I have a great
fully Jennifer Lawrence. What do you mean?
I'm going to give you a really funny quick sports thingy. So I took my son to a 76ers game Monday before last. And my wife mixed up the San Francisco 49ers and the 76ers and called them the 46ers, which was my favorite thing she's ever said.
They should call them the 69ers.
The 69ers would have been better, but the 46ers was just abjectly hilarious. And I started laughing. She goes, what? They're and Eric was with me. And he was like, the 76ers? It's like, whatever. It's the best.
I'll like get through my notes.
The best.
here's the beauty of this fucking documentary, because this documentary was, let me tell you, we're laughing at these guys because they're fucking insane. They're stupid as fuck.
Oh,
But it's actually very disturbing. And we kind of got like one of the most disturbing moments out right out of the gate. So we've been having a little bit more fun. I want you to know some of my notes disappeared, as I said. It was so weird that all of your notes disappeared. Is this big manosphere getting us?
Yep.
But
Yeah,
as I'm
maybe it's
scrolling,
big
I'm
manager.
seeing all these fucking notes I made. I wouldn't necessarily agree with you that Justin is the most insidious of these guys, but he's the saddest. So as I said, the 120 years, I'd be 50 years late for the gold rush comment. Fucking hilarious.
That was just fun.
Then you have he has to be valuable to other men, talking about like men in general.
Yep.
Very fucking weird thing to say as a straight guy. And then he says, I think people think I'm unhappy or I'll never find love. And my note on that was, how much time do you spend thinking about that, bro? Because here's the thing. I'm a feminist who used to have green hair. I do have a septum ring. I have a few other non-conventional piercings. I'm literally queer.
Literally.
I
like how you said literally. Like,
politically and active. Well, whatever. I don't know how we define actively. It doesn't matter. Point is that I know that men like Justin Waller and lots of others do genuinely believe with all of their hearts that I cannot be happy and I will never find love. And I spend zero time thinking about that, except for when it's shoved in my face, because I am happy and I have love in my life. Yep. So when he says, I think that people think this, it's like such a weird thing to bring up with no prompting. It's such a weird thing to admit you think about.
It's a projection thing. It's always a projection thing.
100%. This dude's fucking unhappy. And he said something later about his wife where he's like, well, people think that I'll never find a woman who doesn't love me for my money, but I know I have that. It's like, clearly you don't fucking know you have that, or you'd marry her.
Also, there is another disgusting part of Justin is the fact that he is very good friends with the Tate brothers.
Well, they all, yeah.
But he's the one who's closest to all of them. And he is actively trying to get in the inner circle of Trump. So if you are both of those things, you are literally a human.
Literally bragging about having dinner with Barron Trump. I cannot imagine a more upsetting thing to brag about. Okay.
What a boring piece of shit thing to brag about. Just a boring.
But it's also just like, there's certain things.
Oh, you dined with a 19-year-old. Good for you.
There's certain things you couldn't get out of me if you were pulling my fucking fingernails out. Oh okay. God. So on Dirge right now.
Dinner with Barron Trump. Oh, good. So he ate for free and you went and paid several $100s for a very shitty meal. Good for you.
So on Dirge right now, we're running an article about Eddie McNamara's book, Zodiactually, the true story of a fake serial killer, where he successfully, in my opinion, debunks that the Zodiac killer was one person. And in it, there is the story of Detective Toski, who was the lead investigator of this San Francisco investigation. And he at one point admits that he pretended to be college-age girls writing letters to the San Francisco Chronicle about how awesome he was.
Oh,
I would literally rather admit to being the Zodiac killer and go to prison for murders I didn't commit than admit to that. And I feel also going to same way about bragging about going to dinner with Barron Trump.
Well, he could have just said, I am John Barron. Could have said that. Oh my God. That's a little deep cut, but still.
You got to buy the book. You got to, buy the ticket, take the ride. It's a fantastic book. I'll just keep promoting it because it blew my fucking mind and it's great. But the reason I said all that is that I would literally rather admit to being a serial killer and go to prison for several murders I didn't commit than brag about having dinner with Barron Trump.
Yeah.
Not because I have a reputation as a leftist or a feminist or any of those reasons, which are also true, but just in general, with that fucking psychopath, with that fucking personalityless void, no, babe.
Yeah.
Also, I think a child.
I also think it's funny that people think Barron is going to be like the next Donald J. Trump. Like Barron has the personality of a twig. There is
He might
no.
be the next fucking Zodiac killer, but this time it's real. I'm just saying. I don't. Whatever.
We also haven't talked about one other of these guys.
Sneeko.
Sneeko, apparently, which I had never heard of him. The only person that I had heard of out of all of these, I think there was one, and I actually, I think it was Myron Gaines. I think I heard of him once.
Okay, real quick, I want to go just through my notes about Myron Gaines, and I'll let you get to sleep.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine because we have to get to Sneeko because that's a weird.
Myron's another one-way monogamy guy, and like I said, his fucking girlfriend broke up with him before the documentary aired. So good for fucking her. Thank you, Angie. Good for you, girl.
Yes. Don't get involved with another idiot like that, please.
Well, yeah, but Angie left, and I love that. Angie was just like, you know what? Actually, Louis made me think.
Good. Go, Louis.
Myron, again, I want to remind you. I just want to remind you over and over and over again, just like I had to remind my husband over and over again. That motherfucker worked for the Department of Homeland Security and was not in a low position in that fucking office. He was up there. These people are everywhere. They're in our fucking government. 2, he calls Louis the mainstream media. This happens with other people. But again, this motherfucker was in a high-ranking position with the Department of Homeland Security, and he is calling a niche documentarian the mainstream media. They're fucking lying to you every chance they get. It's insane. Okay. A couple things I already mentioned about him. Second, one of his podcast episodes, the one that Louis is on, starts with a guy who is a self-proclaimed dating coach and penis extension expert.
Penis extension expert just fucking threw me.
Can you believe that these dudes are like, I'm an alpha male. I'm so good. Every woman wants me. Brr, 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 brr. No, really, I need to know what the penis extension expert has to say about it.
How do you, there's only one way you get that title, right?
Well, here's the thing. What I think is because he's a former porn star as well. I think he was reasonably personally gifted with a big dick. That's how he got into porn. Like so many, like John Holmes. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a grift like every fucking thing else. But here's the deal. If you give a shit what a penis extension expert thinks, you know that you're not an alpha male. And I'm not dick shaming here. I'm saying that men who have confidence and have normal fucking relationships with women already know that it does not matter that their dick isn't porno-sized. They already know, in fact, that most men who have porno-sized dicks are like, actually, it's a hindrance more than it's a help.
Yeah, there is one person that I my brother knows who was nicknamed Horse for some very obvious reasons. Okay. And he shared an apartment with him, and this guy was hooking up with a girl, and he heard from the other room, and he said, "What do you want me to do with that?"
I've literally seen a porn where that happened. I'm admitting to things I don't normally admit to on the show because this particular episode is fucking throwing me for a loop. But I've seen a porn where that happens, where the girl's just like, fucking what? But also, I've known people who have exceptionally large penises. They'll tell you, one, it's very hard to get a good erection because it takes a lot of blood. And every human being just basically has around about the same amount of blood.
Yep.
Then there's the guy who's like, known to have the biggest penis in the world or whatever, Guinness Book of World Records, blah, blah. I read this profile on him in like the New York Times or something. I can't remember. Maybe it was the New Yorker, maybe it was New York Times, maybe it was something else. He's the most bitter, angry man in the world because he knows that everybody thinks it's supposed to be great that he has a big penis, but he also knows he can't fucking get laid because he has a huge fucking penis. And like he can't even really jerk off effectively because it's too fucking big. So anyway, I'm just saying, if you, as a straight man, are like, in order to get girls, I need to listen to the penis extension expert. You don't know shit about women. You don't know shit about sex. You're fucking insane. Why don't you go to therapy? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Also, therapy would go a long way towards lots of these fucking people.
Lots of these fucking things. But let's talk about the female delusion calculator, Doug. Do you remember that part of the documentary?
I saw it and I didn't pay as much attention to it because I was like, this is a bunch of nonsense. But
I want to motherfucking talk about it because he's asking these girls what their ideal is. And he's putting in their little delusion calculator and they're like, oh, but like less than 1% of the male population fits those standards and okay. All right, buddy. I want you to describe to me your perfect woman. Because your perfect woman has natural tits that look like fake tits, fake hair that looks like natural hair, no makeup but looks fully made up.
Mhm. And
Is good in bed but has never fucked anybody else.
yeah, the idea that always amazes me is these guys want women who are pure, but also are freaks, and that doesn't happen without experience. It is
Right.
like anything else. You cannot be good at stuff if you don't have experience. There's a
Also
rarity if you are immediately good at something. Those people are considered savants. That is
I
not.
want a
That is
woman
not.
who's a savant at sex is the craziest thing I've ever heard. I love it. I want to make it into a t-shirt.
I am a sexual savant.
No, one that says I want a woman who's a savant at sex.
Oh, that'd be great.
I already have a shirt that says I'm fat because every time I fuck your daddy makes me a sandwich.
That is a great shirt.
Which I think would all
shirt.
is off. Yeah. I try not to wear it in front of my daughter for obvious reasons. I don't want her to freak out every time my husband makes a sandwich.
And you're like, what?
But I want to spend 30 to 60 seconds talking about the facial expressions that Louis Theroux had while they played the bullshit neuroscience thing about women keeping DNA from every man they've fucked in their brain. Just the facial expressions. We don't need to debunk it because it's fucking bullshit. And if you believe that, go fuck yourself. Learn something. Read a motherfucking book. I want to talk about what was happening on his face.
The best. Go ahead. All yours. The floor is yours.
It was just so good. Like through the entire documentary, he does this amazing job. And this is one of his talents. Okay, fair. If you've ever seen a different one of his documentaries, you know this. He does this thing where he lets people talk, and they're usually so self-involved that they're not looking at him anyway. And he's just like there's a lot of eyebrow choreography. There's a lot of lip things. It's beautiful. It's amazing. He doesn't have to tell you what he thinks because he's telling you what he thinks. But in the moment this is happening, he's on the live stream for their podcast. The world is seeing what's happening on his face. And I love it so much. The only thing that brought me joy through this entire fucking documentary were Louis Theroux's facial expressions and the occasional dig he got in under the radar.
Yeah, he did a good job of getting digs. The thing is, so it's almost like face acting. Like there's people that you go and they do this really great face acting, and Kathleen Turner is a good one. There's a few others. Like it's weird. I'm going to give you one that seems odd, but like I think Ryan Gosling does this really well. In a lot of like just there's certain people who are really good at face like just really small expressions that convey way more than if you tried to spew words out in that moment.
Yeah. Well,
and Theroux is like that throughout the whole documentary. It's really fun.
The reason I thought of Kathleen Turner is I have a friend who
Eat
said
those cherries.
Do more with her eyebrow than most actors can do with 2 hours of script.
Yeah. Also, I see you're delving into the cherry realm now. So
of course I fucking am. Come on.
And Luxardo cherries are fucking delicious. So.
They're so good. So good. This is all I have left.
Yeah.
So we do have to wrap up soon or it's going to start getting way angrier.
Yeah. Weirdly, that beer I've been drinking, this is my third one of those because they've been super easy to drink. Yes.
Oh shit. We're both like, let's go for this shit, man.
This documentary just kind of put us on a path.
I'm going to tell you, if you're sitting at home tonight and you didn't watch the documentary before you watch this, which we always suggest that you do watch the documentary before you watch this, but part of me also hopes that you watch this and you're like, oh, maybe I should watch the documentary. Mm-hmm. Whatever. I just, part of me hopes that you like us that much. Anyway, you don't know how bad you need a drink after this documentary until you've watched this documentary.
Yeah.
I needed like a vacation from anywhere I might encounter a man and a stiff drink.
And some boxing gloves.
A stiff drink.
and some boxing gloves for that man.
Literally, I used to do my personal trainer. A million years ago, I had a personal trainer. I don't have one now. I probably need one, but whatever. I had a personal trainer and he trained MMA fighters. but he used to train boxers. And so as a result, I requested to get like a boxing workout.
Oh,
which
that
meant
was
I
a
got,
mistake.
oh, well, I had a lot
For
of,
me, that would be a mistake. For me, that would be a mistake.
I had so many existential crises. However, at the end of every workout, I got to beat the shit out of a heavy bag. But this is the point. I would be going at the heavy bag, and he told me one time, he's like, you know, it's so weird. I noticed that women always go after the heavy bag harder than men. I don't know why that is. And I'm like, you don't know why that is?
What it is?
Yeah. Like, you're having trouble fucking computing that? Are you, what? Are you dumb? So anyway.
All right. So before we kind of wrap all this up, so Sneeko, let's talk a little bit about him. As a guy I'd never heard of.
Here's what's crazy to me. I had heard of him. I didn't know he was a controversial figure. And that actually really bothers me.
Yeah, because that seems like you didn't get the context you needed.
Right.
So he is apparently like one of the super extreme right-wing folks.
Banned from every single platform.
How fucked up you have to be banned from fucking Twitter and YouTube, and you have to be really fucking.
You're really fucking bad. So here's the thing. Here's to give context. When Dirge existed the first time, we would get all this fucking shit from Facebook because like our ads had, and I literally, this is the wording. It's so disgusting, and I apologize. Excessive skin. Gross, right? But it wasn't anything more than you'd see on like a Victoria's Secret ad, and they were fully free to run their ads because they had money.
Yep.
You telling me Sneeko doesn't have the fucking money? I don't believe that. At the level he's at, the amount of shit, the amount of money and subscribers he's bringing into YouTube, he didn't have the money. No fucking way. The shit he was saying had to be so fucking bad.
Yep.
So,
he was very, 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 very anti-Semitic. Like very anti-Semitic.
And everything else.
Yeah, but like that was like one of the super major things that kind of banned, as I recall, when I did a little research after the fact. What's interesting is he got unbanned on YouTube and immediately like 2 million subscribers came to him.
Yes, I hate that so fucking much. Hence the reason I made myself such a strong drink and it's gone.
Yeah. Reason why I'm on the third. So, but what's interesting is like, so he talked about, he went to a No Kings protest with like a thing where you could just see his face, right? And he did that to antagonize No Kings. But he's wearing a thing and it has a giant like Twitter X logo on it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's all for show.
Everybody knows you're a fucking knob.
They're 100% grifters 100% of the time. They're never real. That's what I thought was so crazy about HS, right? When they talked about him streaming for 8 to 12 hours at a time, the money he was making was not fucking worth it.
No.
It wasn't fucking worth it. Yeah. Not just the idea that you have to keep people engaged that whole time, but the fact that like you're tired, you want to take a nap, you can't take a nap. You're kind of over the party, or there's people you don't like there, you can't leave. Like the way that these guys and I'm sure that when I say these guys, I'm sure this applies to a lot of influencers, but the guys in the documentary, the way that it controls their lives is wild. Like even my husband said about Justin, he's like, could you imagine having to keep your mask on that long every day?
Also, you said something very interesting when you said their lives, and you said it like Hugo Weaving in The Matrix, which is one of their very real influences.
Well, let's see. This is their little Matrix thing, and it actually literally fucking means vagina. And what is a red pill besides? I don't fucking know. Do you know what the Matrix is? The movie? Do you know what it is?
Oh, I love them. It's a trans allegory.
It's a movie made by 2 trans women about being fucking trans.
One of my favorite things before I got banned from Twitter for arguing red pill idiots.
I love that that's part of your history, Doug.
is there was a thing where somebody said taking a red pill and Ivanka Trump said taken, and Lily Wachowski was like, fuck both of you. best thing I've ever seen on that app ever.
Here's
Fuck
the
both of
thing that's
you.
wild is like, and Louis makes a point of this in the documentary, is like they think the Matrix is the outside world, but then they've like trapped themselves in an actual algorithm.
Yeah, they bitch about the top people, and they're trying to keep you down, and they're doing the exact same shit. They're all in on the capitalism.
Yeah.
That's
I do want to really quick. I know I still wanted this to be a short show, but it's so hard. I want to talk about the guys who were big fans of Justin's that showed up twice in the documentary.
oh yeah.
Two things that happened that I think are worthy of speaking about. One is that one of these guys showed up to Miami, homeless, living in his car to become a fitness influencer. And I don't like judging people based on their bodies, but there are certain things we need to acknowledge, right? He's not fit.
No,
but he's been convinced that he could become a fitness influencer in Miami. He became homeless for that. That's wild to me. I know. I look at myself in the mirror. I'm not going to be a fitness influencer. There's a lot of things I could do. Some of them could even involve fitness, but it would be like fitness for disabled people, or fitness for women over 40, or fitness for ladies with a bigger belly. It would not be, I'm a jacked ass fucking alpha blah, blah, blah. Because that's not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
These men are literally fucking delusional. He left his home and his family behind to become an influencer in something that he wasn't even accomplishing.
Yeah.
And he still isn't. And again, there's nothing wrong with this young man's body. He's totally fine. He's normal.
Yep.
But normal guys don't make millions or billions of dollars off of showing off their bodies to other men who want to get fit. That's just not how the world works.
Yeah,
like,
and it was funny seeing.
Go ahead.
I think it was funny. Theroux's cameraman filmed the one guy jogging up the beach.
Yeah,
and he looked like me jogging up the beach. And listen,
yes.
he was he was just a regular dude. That's cool. You could be that.
Fine. Here's the thing. Like, I wish there were more.
And be proud of your body. That's cool.
Yes.
But like, whatever. But like, don't act like you're a fitness influencer. That's not what that is. And that's okay.
I would 110% love it if guys like him said, I'm going to become a fitness influencer. I'm going to show you that a body like mine can be fit. I'm going to show you the workouts I do. I'm going to show you how healthy I am, despite the fact that I'll fit your image of what is fit.
I would have a lot of respect for that.
That's not what he was doing. He was doing, I'm just as fit as HS. I'm just as fit as Justin Mueller. I'm just as fit as fucking, I imagine Andrew Tate to be. I haven't seen a picture of that dude with his shirt off. I bet you he doesn't put him out.
Oh, and he never wears it. He doesn't go shirtless ever. For a reason.
Wonder why. Anyway, it's like if I decided tomorrow I'm going to go on American Idol, I would really fucking hope that my friends and family and people who love me were like, maybe take some voice lessons first. Because while everybody should feel free to sing at the top of their lungs their favorite song in their car, and just about everybody should feel free to go do a karaoke night. And fuck you if you're one of those people who thinks that you have to be good to do karaoke. That's not karaoke.
Yeah, I
believe that. But if you go on fucking American Idol, if you try to get a fucking record deal, I'm going to tell you, girl, you ain't got it. And that's normal and fine. Not everybody has the same talents. Number two about this guy, and this was dark as fuck. I feel like you know where I'm going because it was one of the darkest documentary aside from the gay bashing incident. He says, as men, we are meant to suffer. We aren't meant to be happy. And then he says, we don't believe in depression. And I make this note and I'm just like, come on. And then, do you remember what he says?
Is it what he talks about his brother?
Committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Like, buddy, I think I desperately, I'm begging you, I need you to believe in depression because you need help for it. It runs in your family and you are clearly experiencing it.
And you need therapy and you need help. And that's not a problem. You should go get it.
Here's the thing, too. I don't know if we've touched on this on the show before. I think we might have. But I also need people to understand, if you have someone like this in your life, or you have someone in your life who is extremely problematic in some other way, Do not expect therapy to help them. Therapy is not what you think it is when you tell someone to go to therapy to get better.
No, it takes work.
Yeah. It also,
and you have to get the right therapist too. That doesn't work.
Not just that, because that's all true, and you can find that information if you Google enough. Here's the thing you need to understand about what it means to be an ethical therapist is that an ethical therapist sits in their office and you come to them and you tell them what you think you need to work on. So if you think what you need to work on is building your confidence and getting in better shape, that is all the therapist is allowed to work with you on. They're not allowed to tell you, no, buddy, you need to deconstruct your ideas about masculinity. They're literally not allowed to do that. It is unethical. Therapists who do that, and there are some, are taking a risk. They're not allowed and literally will lose their license if you come to them and you tell them about your experience in the world and then they go call your mom and your partner and your friends and ask if that's accurate. They're not allowed to do that. They can only go on what you say is going on. And they might have a good bullshit detector and call you on your shit, but they kind of just, they only have what you have to say. They cannot go reach out to your fucking extended circle. Therapy is not going to cure a person like this without a lot of willingness, a lot of work, a lot of ability to say, to get to a point of self-awareness, right? To say, I don't think I have the self-awareness that I need. Can you help me get there?
Yeah. I would like to also point out, before we start wrapping things up here, is Myron Gaines' real name is, oh, sorry. God damn it.
Please do. Yeah.
Amaru Foodie.
There you go.
So, yeah. Amaru Foodie. Poodle. So that's his real name. Myron Gaines. And the thing is that's such an interesting thing, just the idea that clearly that is not a like an Americanized name, and he chose an Americanized name to go out there. And that is a very conscious choice because he doesn't want to be viewed as an other. Because they're very big in the manosphere about othering folks. And he would be on the outside if he would go by his real name.
What I think is very interesting about the manosphere is that, like, look at Andrew Tate. Does Andrew Tate look like a white man to you?
No.
Not to me either. And that's without diving into the way that racists view what is white and what is not as white.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because racists view it very differently than you or I would.
Sure.
It's kind of interesting. And here's the other thing is there's so much discussion from the guys on this documentary about how they're not certain things, but they idolize Andrew Tate, who definitely is those things. And you have, like, Andrew Tate's in hiding because he has charges about human trafficking awaiting him. HS, through the whole documentary, was literally in hiding because he had a criminal car accident case and he didn't want to be held responsible for it. These are people who avoid responsibility, who avoid the kind of things that actually make you a grown-up. And when I think about what makes a man, what makes a woman, I think about, are you a fucking grown-up first and foremost?
Are you accountable?
Yeah. Because, like, the difference between a man and a boy is their level of maturity. The difference between a girl and a woman is their level of maturity. I'm not getting into the physical side of things. That's a little bit more whatever. And I don't want to do that because it's gross for an adult to do that.
For sure.
But, like, when you talk about gender, I am not going to tell you that being a man means being a provider, because lots of women are providers and they're still just as much a woman as anybody else. I'm going to tell you that being a man means being loyal, because that's insane. Anybody can be loyal. You know, but the difference between if you grow up and you're like, I'm a boy, and you're an adult and you're like, I'm a man, the difference there is your ability to be an adult, to be a responsible human being that takes care of the things that he is supposed to take care of.
And whatever, so that could be a variety of things depending on the scenario too. So it doesn't have to be
right. But if you fucking are accused of a crime, the only way to take accountability for that is face up.
Yep.
And real men do that all the fucking time, even when they're innocent. They do it all the fucking time, even when they're innocent. Real men are willing to go to jail, even when they're innocent. Even when the law is unjust, they're willing to fucking do that. Andrew Tate is not willing to do that. HS was unwilling to do that. And then he fucking brought his little ass to fucking the UK and got away with it anyway. And I'm going to tell you what I believe. I believe he only brought his ass to the UK because he knew he was going to get away with it in the first place.
I'm sure he paid his way to be cleared of whatever. So
100%. Because another thing that happens in this documentary that really pisses the HS off is that Louis uses his investment platform and loses 2/3 of his money and is open about it.
Yeah, he said, yep, well, I lost money and I supposedly followed all the things. He put 500 pounds, which whatever.
Isn't much. Yeah.
No, but not in their
terms of
scheme.
investment. Yeah.
But for people like you and I, that is a lot of money.
Right.
And a lot of these people who invest in that is a lot of money for them. And they
100%.
don't care.
Yeah.
They
In
don't give a
terms of
shit.
an investment, like if you're going to open a mutual fund, $500 is nothing. But in terms of the people that he is targeting on Telegram, it's a lot of fucking money. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we have a lot of other things that we could talk about. Let's sort of wrap this up. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up the show?
You know what I really want to say to people is that think about everything you know about these incel men going their own way, Andrew Tate wannabe, grifter fucking personalities. It is so much worse than you can imagine. And what we got is what they put out for the cameras when they knew the cameras were on.
Yeah. Also, if you have kids, especially sons, you don't have to be like, I'm going to monitor everything you do, but you really need to be open about what are you watching? How can I discuss that with you? Like, you really need to be open to talking
if you
to your
get on Google, and I know this because I did this when my kid was homeschooled. If you get on Google and you do a little bit of research on how the algorithms radicalize young men, you can find articles and research studies on it, and you can find ways to talk to your kids about it. It's very important.
For sure.
It's very important. And it's very important for girls and boys and non-binary kids as well, because they're either boys who are subject to it, or they're boys, girls, and non-binary kids who are going to be around boys who are subjected to it. And it's very important. And the other thing you need to understand is that people of color, queer people, and women are often manipulated into being parts of these groups as a badge of look. These people
look what I have.
Yeah. And that's damaging in a million different ways that we don't nearly have enough time to get into. You have to talk to your kids about this shit. If you can watch this documentary with your kids, if they're old enough, definitely wouldn't recommend it for young kids. If they're old enough, do that if you can. And if you can't, find ways to talk to them about it, because it is so fucking important.
Yep.
And even people who started out, like I said, Vivek Ramaswamy started out fighting against it, and now he's on the side of it.
Yep.
Just think about that.
Yep. You can make money off of it, and too often that's a big swayer. So
if you are raising, I said this, a lot of people are focused on how to gain power over other people, and not enough people are focused on how to gain power over themselves.
Yep.
And you need to think about what kind of kids you're raising, because our culture is based around that idea.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, Renee. So the Manosphere is something that we could have talked for even more, but thanks. So thanks for doing this with me. But we're going to talk a bit about. So I know nothing about this particular thing, and we're going to talk about next month, which is going to be funny. I
know a lot about it. It's kind of a funny one to follow this episode with. I'm going to be honest.
Okay, so what we're going to be talking about is this. I'm going to take us off screen for a There.
So, I didn't hear anything you said. You were muted.
Oh, sorry. I was when I put that up, it muted me, I guess. I'm saying so Orgasm Inc., the story of one taste. I know nothing about this. I'm going to be going in blind. You know something about this, so this will be interesting. So
the basics of this cult is it started as a program about women getting orgasms. it involves such subjects as creating a perfect little nest for a lady to sit in while she gets eaten out for as long as it fucking takes for her to come. It goes wrong. I'm sorry to say it goes wrong.
Well, otherwise we wouldn't be covering it. So
lovely idea. Not necessarily the best execution.
All right. So that'll be next week. So yeah.
Next month.
Sorry, next week. Sheesh. Maybe it's the 3 beers I had. I don't know.
I know. We're both like, woo. Oh, I just knocked something over. See what I mean?
Yeah. So, all right, folks. So thanks for joining us. And we will see you on May 6th to talk about Orgasm Inc.
Now, talk to your kids and talk to the kids in your life.
Yes, please do. So, cheers, folks. Please talk to your kids.